Hi, welcome. I am back. I am Denise. I'm an amateur for life. I am really just documenting my life experiences and, what I learned along the way. There's so much that I'm still in the process of experiencing and learning. And as I've mentioned before, I'm actually technically back on YouTube. I never really picked it up, but I've kind of had this account for a few years now. Anyway, so if you clicked on this video, it's because you wanted to see what it was like to be lucky enough to be selected for one of the lottery tickets that our Mayor Mandani in New York City raffled off. And if you win, which by the way, I never win anything. I just got really lucky this time. So this was my second World Cup game to be privileged enough to go ahead and be a part of. I actually was able, through the raffle, you're able to purchase maximum of 2 tickets, and each of them is $50. This includes being provided transportation to and from for free and paying the $50 for each ticket. I couldn't find someone to go with me, only reason being my husband had already had his ticket. So he actually purchased a ticket separately from me for the exact game that I won a raffle for. Okay, so my husband, who I mentioned in the last video, is an avid football. He's a football lover. He has and always has been since he was like a little kid. There are more stories attached to that are really beautiful, but I'm not going to talk about right now. Anyway, I digress. So my husband had already had his ticket, so he couldn't come with me. He had a different seat completely, and he was going solo, actually. Technically solo, but I won't get into it. Essentially, he had people he knew who were sitting next to him because I'm getting into it, because his coworker won the initial purchasing raffle lottery that gives you the permission to go ahead and buy before everyone else can buy, before you know who's playing, before you know the specifics, before you know the teams that are playing. So we won round of 16 tickets. So I won them before we even knew who was going to be playing. And just to give you all perspective, my husband paid for his ticket well in advance of knowing who was going to play as well. And he bought his for $930 something for one seat. And that did not include travel. So he still had to pay what we did in the last video, which was going through the New Jersey Transit. And that was about $100 back and forth. So in total, he spent over $1,000 being there, not including food and beverages and everything. That was still, even for our experience, we still had to pay for our food when we were there, and any, of course, treats that you wanted to have while you were there. That being said, folks were paying way more when it came down to knowing who was going to be playing the game. And I want to talk to you all about the experience that we had when we went for this round of 16 game. We went on Saturday, just kidding, it was Sunday, July 5th. So we being me and my niece, actually got to go. I was trying to figure out who to take. It was a bit of a back and forth, mostly because some people couldn't. And yeah, in the end, I ended up taking my niece, who is about to be a teenager. And you will not be seeing her face throughout the duration of this video, but you will see little snippets of her in the camera. She also has never been to a World Cup game, and I just wanted to kind of give her the experience. She was a trooper. So to tell you more about what that experience, so what it all entailed in our day, we woke up early for 7 a.m. because we had to get to where the transportation shuttle was, and we got back late. So in total, we were out from, I think, 8 in the morning until 10 p.m. at night. So we start out our day for where I had to pick her up and we had to get back on the Metro North, which is exactly what I did the first time we went to the World Cup a few weeks ago. And this is in the New Jersey, New York area. So had to go through the Metro North, get us to Grand Central. I got to show her around a little bit. She doesn't really go to the city that often. We grew up in the Bronx. I mean, me, my sisters, and we grew up in the Bronx, in various parts of the Bronx. So just to also say, this is not an experience that we are very used to. We were very lucky. I, again, was born and raised here. I'm a New Yorker. Still directionally challenged, even though I was born and raised here. But this is something that is also a privilege to experience for myself, just given my own upbringing, and something that I think is a beautiful gift to have gifted to have like had my niece experience with us at such a young age, because we didn't have too many of these opportunities growing up, and because I never win anything, so I was just incredibly grateful that I was one of the people to be able to do so, to be able to give an experience like this to someone like my niece, who is also an amateur at being a football lover. So she wanted to check out the process. I had geared her up. She's young, so I geared it up for realistic expectations that we were going to be out all day, and she was a trooper. She went with the whole experience. So we got up early. We made our ways to the Metro North. We went all the way to Grand Central. I even almost got us lost. There's very limited video of this because I was too busy trying to get us back on track. So we had to get to, I'm gonna look this up here. So they send you an email. Saying you won. It's very exciting, right? You won. I actually thought I was being scammed. I thought I was being punked, mostly scammed, because I was like, oh, they're gonna make me pay for something, and it's a lie. But it was all legitimate. I obviously had entered the raffle and won. They send you an email. That happens a few weeks before. They have you pay. They have you verify your ID and your address and everything, because it's only for New York City residents. And I live in the Bronx. My niece does not anymore. My family, some of them have moved away, but I digress. So they send you that email, you pay for your tickets, you have to wait a few weeks later for them to send you the information for the transportation and your day of match. So they want to kind of stagger you, and that's what they did. There were, to the best of my knowledge, a few ways to get to the stadium. So one way was the one we took via New Jersey Transit. The other way that we took this time was through bus shuttles. So big coach buses that would take you from the city, it sounds like various points of the city, I can't verify that right now, and then would take you straight to the stadium and drop you off. And then of course at the end they would, from the stadium, drop you off to the designated spot you were going to. The reason I say I think there were various areas in the city is because I noticed the signage after the game to different spots in Manhattan. So we had to do a check-in before you got on the bus. And so we had to show our ID, and we had to get online to get on the Greyhound buses. And they scheduled you for a slot that you had to be at the pickup time so that you get on the bus. So they staggered us. Our pickup time was at between 10:30 and 10:50. So I almost got us lost, and I almost missed our time. In hindsight, or even thinking about events, I think we would have been fine if we were a little later. But they had a phone number that you can reach out to if you were later. And when you got there, they're really nice. Everyone there was really sweet. And they checked us in. They gave us a flag because it was warm that day. And they had us line up and wait for our turn to get on the bus. The bus was nice. It was a coach bus. It had a bathroom in the back. And the driver was hilarious. He was great. He took us there. He took us in New Jersey, on the New Jersey, God, I don't even know what it's called, but getting out of New York City through New Jersey, and he stopped the bus. Maybe I shouldn't be telling you all this. You don't know who he is. So he stopped the bus at the view of New York City so that people can take pictures. And it was so nice and so fun. He did it safely, but still, it was really nice of him to do.
Even though it's cloudy, but because it hasn't rained yet, after we pass this second building, it's going to be an amazing view of the city. I'm going to put my flashers on to let this guy behind me know that he needs to go around because I have very important people on my bus and I want them to get a great picture of the city. Here you go. Look at that. Oh, and you got ships out there. Come on, get that view. Get that view. I'm driving slow. Come on, come on. The bus is going by me. And guess what? Because the bus went by me, you're going to get an even better view because I'm going to do this right here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gotta go. Did you all hear me put the pedal to the metal and it still didn't go anywhere? All right, well,
we walked, I think, 15 to 20K in the entire day. Once we got there, we were way early. So doors hadn't even opened yet. I think we got there around noon, 11:40-ish to noon because there was no traffic on our way in. So it was an easy ride too. We got there, there's a mall that's next to the stadium. So next to the MetLife Stadium, there is a mall that is right, basically walkable through a bridge. And I took my niece to it because I was like, the doors aren't open yet. I'm not going to have you standing around here. So let's go to this mall because you're a teenager and you don't want to just stand here. My battery was low on my camera and also on my phone. So I wasn't trying to be on my phone or, do that. And she also was, didn't want to just be on her phone in the heat. So we went to the air conditioned mall. We explored. That was its own form of mayhem. People were really excited. There were watch parties in there. I actually for some reason, didn't expect that to be the thing. And the game that we went to was Brazil versus Norway. And we were absolutely surrounded by Brazil fans, which is fun and great. This is one of those games, again, just like the first game that I got to see, where I don't really have a stake in this game. I'm just here for a good time. But I'm just saying that the whole crowd was mostly yellow and green. But then we make our way back inside. Like I said before, it's still wholesome. They still have the same food. They still have the same kind of like entertainment. And of course, as you make your way inside, it's also super crowded. So me and my niece, we go ahead, we get into the stadium. I meet my husband there. He meets us there. And we are together up until the point of, we eat together, we hang out together once the doors open and after we get back to them from the mall. And we make our way to our seats. It is always nerve-wracking, and it was even more nerve-wracking. It's always nerve-wracking for me, when I'm surrounded in a crowd. It makes me anxious. I'm not claustrophobic, but I do get nervous with the unpredictability of big crowds. I was even more nervous because I had my niece with me, and my niece is little. She's she's a girl, and she is my responsibility at that point, right? Like my sister had given me my niece so that I can have her be with me and we have a good time. But of course I get anxious and I'm like, anything can go wrong here. I know crowds can be unpredictable. And then my brain just went, I panic. Thankfully, we had a good experience. We were able to move through the crowd seamlessly. My husband would be in front of her and she would be in front of me. So we kind of protected her from the crowds. We would get separated or people were cut through, not a problem. It happens. But we were able to kind of make it to our seats okay. We were really high up. We were at the very top, which by the way was still a really good view and actually more comfortable. I felt like I didn't have to tiptoe over people. I'm tall, so I don't usually have to do that to begin with, but I did have to kind of do that for the England versus Panama game. And we were lucky because there were other kids in our general area. So my niece also didn't have to do that because she's shorter. And we had a good time. We were able to watch it through. We saw the goals that everyone went ahead and made. It was cute because I was in my Mexico jersey and then there's this little kid that I'm seeing in the video who's also in his Mexico jersey who sat next to my niece. So that was fun. I'll show you some of the experiences that I had, or like some of the things that I viewed, not only goals. I couldn't capture everything the way that I captured it the first time because, like I said, for whatever reason, I forgot to, my camera had charge, but this camera is small and also loses battery pretty quickly because the station itself charges the little camera that can be removed. And so it can absolutely sometimes just like drain itself. But I didn't have it at 100%. Usually I'm pretty good at having it when I know I'm having a big event, but for some reason I had it at 80 when it started. So I was already like running low on a quick battery. Okay, so coming to you as an editor's note, I am very much post long work day, post dinner, current editing mode. And I realized that I didn't really like explain a little bit more about what you're about to see. Like I mentioned, my camera was running pretty low, so I only was able to capture things as they kind of came up, and you're gonna see a little bit about what I was able to see during my experience now. I'm also wearing my Mexico jersey during this editor's note because I didn't think to wear it the first video that I did. So here we go. So I was able to capture when the flags were brought out. As I mentioned in my previous video, I think that that is a very beautiful moment that folks have with feeling a sense of pride for their country. The next highlight is viewing when Norway put in their first goal. But as everyone knows, Norway did not stop there and they hit a second goal. One of the things that has struck me the most during this is how much the game is like, and it kind of feels like an end all be all for folks. And you can see that by the time Norway had hit their second goal, how people just started becoming devastated in the crowd. It's truly something to witness. You might catch little snippets of it. I did not focus in on anyone suffering. I took no pleasure in it. Like I said, I had no stake in this game. However, people did kind of come back to that sense of like excitement when Brazil hit their goal through penalties. Okay, final brief editor's note is to just say that I'm going to hand it back over to original me. Fun times because the Norway crew won that game and they do the Norway row. So that was cool to see. We were at a distance, but you can hear it. They echoed the whole stadium, even when it was emptying out, especially when it was emptying out, right? And Holland was able to kind of like orchestrate it with the drums. So that was cool to see from afar and also like be in the exact vicinity. They are very loud and passionate. It was very fun. Afterwards, we had to begin our trek back downstairs from our seats. We gave it some time because we were both nervous at the height that we were, because it just does feel like you might like tip a little over because you're high up, but it was fun. And we had to make our way back. So we gave everybody else time to like get out of the stadium so we wouldn't have to like rush through them on our way downstairs. That's usually what we do when we're in crowds like that. And made our way back, found the bus station. I will say the morning experience for us was vastly different than the afternoon experience because we were assigned to a coach bus when we signed in through the raffle check-in. In the afternoon, it is a free-for-all. They just kind of put us on any single bus. There were a mix of coach buses and school buses, and you had to go to your assigned area. At this point in the day, I barely had my camera. I think my camera might have died at this point. So I only have like little snippets of where we're walking, and I didn't get too much of the signage. But it was rows on rows on rows of a line for us to get onto the bus, and we were assigned to a school bus. Grateful for that, loved it. We did not have the same level of calm and composed after the game. When someone loses, there is, a group of people that is really sad, and we happened to be on a bus where that was the case. So, disruptive ride, but nobody's fault, just like what it was, and we made it back safely. We hit so much traffic. This is just New York, right? Like New Jersey, New York traffic. So by the end of it, we are exhausted. But at 10 p.m. at night, we made it back in time to actually watch the Mexico game. I think it was Mexico versus England, and that was the one that they lost. Okay, so that is a much shorter version of what we experienced. Today I'm wearing my husband's jersey because why not? I want to say just what a privilege it is for me to have been to these two. So I don't take it lightly that I've been lucky enough to go to not one but two World Cup games. And to give further context, the first World Cup game, I think I said it in my last video, we paid $600-ish a seat. So that was all four of us, my husband, my sister, and my brother-in-law. And this time around, my husband had his ticket for the round of 16, and that was over $900. But me and my niece had our tickets for $50 each. My husband's ticket did not include transportation, so he spent over $1,000, and my niece and I did have it. So thank you, Mayor Mamdani, for making that possible for me and my family to be able to just experience that one more time at a price that made it comfortable to also do so. So not a small thing, huge. And for an amateur like me, who's still kind of even learning the rules, I was very impressed with myself because I was able to tell my niece some of the things, and she already knew because, again, football is a big thing in our family. That's why we all went to the World Cup. And it was just nice to be a part of it, be lucky enough, fortunate enough to have access to it, have the experience, be around people who also cared, having a good time, and getting to and from safely after all of it. If you're interested in stuff like this, let me know. This is my last World Cup video because I did not go to any more. I was lucky enough to go to the 2. And there are times where I go to games, but it's not very often. So hopefully if you're here, you enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. You may not be interested in more of the other stuff. I'm an amateur, so I'm just capturing my experiences as they come along and some of the things that I learned along the way. And if you're interested in seeing just like someone along in their journey and kind of want to, join in and check out what's to come and how I learned this editing process and in all of it, then please subscribe, like this video, comment down below, let me know any suggestions, let me know what you liked about this video, just as I learned to kind of keep track of what that might mean for future videos. All right. And if there's something that you learn and wanted to just kind of shout out, please comment it below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are growing. You keep going, you keep growing, and that you're out there having fun. Okay, thanks. Bye.